everyone. Welcome to your favorite game show, King's Court, the game show fit for a king. Let's give it up for contestant number 1, Amy. Amy has been a longtime fan of this show, and she's super excited to play. And let's give it up for contestant number 2, Jacob. Just to be honest, he was walking by earlier today, and we needed another contestant, so here he is.
Yeah, I'm still not exactly sure what I'm doing here. How does this game work?
The game is actually quite simple, Jacob. I'll ask a question. The contestant that knows the answer will buzz in. If you know the question, great. If you don't know the question, we're gonna have plenty of helpful information to help you along the way. However, if you lose a round, you will be obligated to spin the wheel of woe. Oh, also to mention, at any point, if you hear this sound in a round, that's the clue cue sound.
You said the wheel of woe?
Oh, yes.
What is that?
Well, buddy, let's pray you don't find out. What do you say? You wanna get started?
I'm ready, Gary.
That's the spirit. Question number 1. What animal did kings ride in the Bible? Take it away, Amy.
Elephant.
No. Unfortunately, that is not the correct answer. Jacob, do you have a guess?
No, I have no idea. What was that sound?
Like I said earlier, that is the clue cue sound. Let's head over to the history corner with Professor Pontificate.
Oh, how I love thee, how I shall recite the ways. Is it that, okay, we're ready. Where did I put the book? Let me find it. No. Okay. Welcome everyone to Professor Pontificate's History Corner. I'm Professor Pontificate, your guide to all things historical. Let's see what the big book of history has in store for us today, shall we? Oh, do you know what this is? A crown. One more thing. Oh, a sword. You know, today, battles are fought from far away. The leader of that army would simply call on the telephone and say, go left, go right, go attack. But not back then. It would have been unthinkable for a king to sit on the sidelines while their armies went out and fought a battle. No. Back then, the kings went where the action was, leading the troops, fighting alongside them to win the day. Look, celebrate, good times, celebrate. Woo! If the king and his troops were victorious, then they would return to the city and everyone threw a party. There would be celebrating, the king is amazing, because the king had won the battle. But the best part was that when the king returned to the city, he didn't just walk into the city like any old normal guy. He entered the parade, and there were cheers and songs and food and drinks. Let's see what else the book has for us. Yes, this is perfect. You see, the king didn't just walk into the parade. He sat atop the biggest, strongest, most beautiful horse in all the kingdom. I believe if you pay close attention today, you'll see another king riding on the back of a noble steed. You're quite noble, do you believe that? I'm not quite sure. I believe in you, you're still here.
Okay, Jacob, tell us, what animal did kings ride in the Bible?
A horse?
Correct. The first point today in King's Court goes to Jacob. Amy, you're gonna have to spin the wheel of woe.
I can't believe it. I'm actually going to spin the wheel of woe.
Say it with me, everyone. Spin that wheel.
Brain freeze?
Before I read the next question, you have to drink this entire milkshake in 10 seconds. So, good luck.
Oh, I can't feel my brain.
All righty, question number 2. In the book of Luke, what animal did Jesus ride into the city of Jerusalem? Jacob.
I know this one.
Yes?
It's a horse.
Oh no, I'm afraid that's incorrect. Amy, would you like to take a guess?
I can't even feel my brain right now.
That's all right, Amy, because it's time for our next clue.
There's a story in the Bible about Jesus making his big entrance as king.
You're talking about his triumphal entry.
Yeah, only he made this big entrance on a donkey.
Right. Let's turn to the book of Luke to find out what happened. The word says, as he came to the towns of Bethphage and Bethany on the Mount of Olives, he sent 2 disciples ahead. Go into that village over there, he told them. As you enter it, you will see a young donkey tied there that no one has ever ridden. Untie it and bring it here.
Hey!
If anyone asks, why are you untying that colt? Just say, the Lord needs it. So they went and found the colt, just as Jesus had said.
And they brought the colt to Jesus and threw their garments over it for him to ride on. But I still don't understand why Jesus would want to make his big entrance as king of the world on a donkey.
There are 2 very important reasons Jesus did this. First of all, he was fulfilling the prophecy from Zechariah 9:9, which says, "Rejoice, O people of Zion. Shout in triumph, O people of Jerusalem. Look, your king is coming to you. He is righteous and victorious. Yet he is humble, riding on a donkey's colt."
So there was a prophecy long before about Jesus being king.
That's right. But some people expected the Messiah to be a warrior who would come in and destroy their enemies.
Jesus was not the kind of king some people were expecting.
Exactly. When he reached the place where the road started down the Mount of Olives, the crowd spread out their garments on the road ahead of him. All his followers began to shout and sing as they walked along, praising God for all the wonderful miracles they had seen. But some of the Pharisees among the crowd said, "Teacher, rebuke your followers for saying things like that." He replied, if they kept quiet, the stones along the road would burst into cheers.
Oh no.
Jesus knows us and he loves us. Hebrews 2:17 says, "For this reason he had to be made like them, fully human in every way, in order that he might become a merciful and faithful high priest in service to God, and that he might make atonement for the sins of the people." His triumphal entry into Jerusalem, riding on a humble donkey, was one way he showed the world he is the perfect king.
Wow, now that was a great story. Amy, are you ready to answer the question?
Well, I can feel my brain again.
Alrighty then. In the Bible, what kind of animal did Jesus ride into the city of Jerusalem?
A donkey.
That is correct. Well done, Amy. The score is now 1-1, tie game. Jacob, do you know what time it is? Say it with me, everyone. Spin that wheel.
Humpty Dumpty, what does that mean?
Before you can answer the next question, you have to solve this Humpty Dumpty themed puzzle. And you better hurry, because here comes the next question.
Whoa, wait, hold on, give me
Who is a
one sec.
different kind of king?
You know, it could be Joey Meatballs from the deli down on 15th Street. They call him the king of sandwiches.
Finish!
Well done, Jacob. Do you have an answer for us?
Wait, what was the question again?
Well, you know what that sound means. It's time for our third and final clue. And this one is going to come from our very own producer, Perry, up in the studio. Over to you, Perry.
Get camera 2 back in focus, please. And where did I put my latte? Are we live? All right, contestants. If I asked you what a king was like, what would you say? You'd probably say kings are powerful. You might also say a king is in control, which is true because everybody has to do what the king says. But what about kind or forgiving? Does a king have to be kind? Does a king have to forgive? The Bible is full of kings. In fact, there are 2 whole books that are literally titled Kings. Being a king is about more than being powerful. A true king is someone who builds their kingdom not through violence or hatred, but through love. Of the dozens of kings throughout the Bible, almost all of them fail to be true kings. But if you keep reading, eventually you come across one king who is different. Of all the kings in the Bible, there was one who was so incredibly different that most people didn't even believe he was a king at all. Do you know who I'm talking about? That's right, it's Jesus. Most kings are rich, right? Not Jesus. He worked a regular job with regular people. Most kings are famous, not Jesus. When he was walking around with his 12 disciples, most people had never heard about him. What about powerful? Philippians 2:7 says that Jesus gave up his divine privileges and took the humble position of a human being. That means that Jesus could have controlled everything, but because he loves us, he chose not to do that. He wasn't rich, famous, popular because of his looks, so what kind of king was he? Do you remember today's Bible story where Jesus rode into Jerusalem on the back of a donkey? What if I told you that moment shows us everything we need to know about Jesus as king? Earlier, we talked about how after a king won a battle, he would ride back home on a big, beautiful horse, and there would be a parade. Well, that's exactly what Jesus was doing, except instead of winning a battle on the battlefield, Jesus was showing us that he would win the battle against sin and death. He could have ridden in on a big, beautiful horse, but instead, he chose a donkey. Why? Well, Zechariah 9:9 says that the king would come riding the back of a donkey. Did you notice how everyone responded when Jesus rode in? They worshiped him because they recognized that he was doing something special, announcing himself as a different kind of king. Today's big idea is Jesus is a different kind of king. He chooses to lay down his life for the people he loves. He's not what people expected. Jesus is a different kind of king. All right, back to the show.
Wow, what an amazing final clue. Are you ready for the last question? Question number 3. Who is a different kind of king? Jacob, before your answer, I need to check that puzzle to make sure it was done correctly.
Sure thing, Gary. One completed Humpty Dumpty puzzle right here.
Awesome.
Now can I answer the question?
You sure can, Jacob. Tell us, who is a different kind of king?
Humpty Dumpty. Wait, no, I meant to say.
Unfortunately, Humpty Dumpty is not the answer we were looking for, which means, Amy, do you have the correct answer?
I do, Gary. Jesus is a different kind of king.
Ladies and gentlemen, meet the new ruler of King's Court for today.
See, Mom? I told you I can do it.
Thank you for joining us in today's episode of King's Court. We'll see you next time.